All right. Good morning, my dogs. Ooh, that's a spies. Let's go to Red Dog for a second here. Good morning, guys. It is 6:32. It is December 18th. It is Fed Day. It is Hump Day. It is the last Fed Day of December. And some people are like, Red Dog, why the hell are they cutting a quarter? The S&P's up 28%. Mag 7's making moves. Tesla's at almost historic, actually at historic highs. Bitcoin's over 100,000. Everyone's making money. And the news is reporting on 9 days down in the Dow, the biggest losing streak since 1970. I was like, really? I'm like, that's what the doom and gloom is here. I'm like, the S&P's up 28%. Apple just made a new move high. Tesla hit what 483, and they're talking about how the Dow's been down for 9 days. But anyway, so the question is not whether they cut. It's like how hawkish is he going to sound, and if he sounds super duper hawkish, makes sense. Things aren't slowing down. I don't know one person out of work, to be honest, and I'm sure there are people. I'm not trying to belittle, a little bit of a slowdown, but housing prices is still high. Gas is still hanging at $3. I think everyone's getting a little spoiled here. So don't be spoiled. Don't be caught with your pants down, and just continue to make your moves. There are lots of ways to thread needles in this market as far as sector to sector, pattern to pattern, setup to setup. And you don't want to chase things when it gets the loudest. You want to take profits and then move on and see how the money's flowing. Anyway, did I say my name? My name is Scott Redler. I am the Chief Strategic Officer of T3 Live. And this is now 6:34. And hopefully everyone's feeling good, heading into the holiday season. Make sure to remember the gifts. Don't get last minute gifts. Be a little thoughtful. Anyway, so here we are heading into the Fed. This is your upper channel. Remember yesterday, I'm like, are we going to hold 602.80? We're going to hold 602. Can you buy weakness? Can you continue to trade around your positions? And there are a lot of ways to do so. So with that being said, now the SPYs are up $1.60. We're smack in the middle of the range. And, I love it when we're in a big range like this because, when you're in a range like this, you're not getting, pressure either which way where everything has to go up and everything goes down. You're able to follow and find the relative strength and the relative weakness and go with it. So with that being said, a lot of people kind of complaining about what's going on. Red Dog's not complaining. I rarely complain. I try and take accountability. Usually when you're complaining, you're doing something wrong. So if you were to blame yourself and say, hey, maybe this is my fault. Maybe I shouldn't be buying the energy names too early. Maybe I shouldn't be listening to everyone about the January effects so early. Maybe I should just be with the leaders and continue to go with what's working. But anyway, with that being said, we're at 605.94. So now we're back above the midline. So we'll see what happens today. Typically, they usually, I think, you could probably sell a little bit if you bought some stuff yesterday. And then we'll see where we are closer to 2 o'clock. And then 2:30 is the press conference, which is really important. So a lot of people are talking about how bad the IWM is. I get it. I'm not in the IWM. I guess you could lower this and say, hey, did they discount the IWM enough into the Fed with a hawkish stance? Because I guess if they don't sound as hawkish as they probably could, maybe the IWM gets a bounce. But again, I don't think it's going to be such a crazy bounce. If anything, this is 236. I'm not. We're below the 821. They were hanging by a thread on the 50-day. So we'll see. If you're caught just in the small caps because everybody's talking about the broadening out and this and that, this is not the broadening trade. This is right now we're in the Mag 7 mega cap trade that maybe could change. But anyway, so that's 230. A lot of talk about the Dow. Okay, and how it's come back to the 50-day. So I bought some Dow calls yesterday. I said, you know what? Let me buy the calls for 1227. If there is a rotation where all of a sudden they do sell some mega cap tech, some, not all, I'm just saying, well, why not, try and trade this? I don't really ever trade the Dow, but we're on this big trend line, and chances are, I don't think until the end of the year they're just going to crush this thing, but if they do, they do. So I bought some options. Which options did I buy? I'm not exactly sure. Let me take a look here. Hold on. This is 434. The high on the diamonds, which I'd never trade, but I'm buying a dip here because that's what I do. I try and find some opportunities, and if I'm not taking pain, you could position into reflection, inflection points and where could it go. This would be kind of like just a broken bounce, just up to 440. So. With that being said, I'm not doing it for this Friday. I'm doing it for next Friday. 12/27 is the date that I'm going to key on. If we're going to rally into the end of the year, I would think it'd be not this Friday, the following Friday, because you're in Christmas week. You're also not at 3-day settlement. Sometimes they sell winners the last day or so of the year, because then in settlement, then they could pay taxes the following year. So the strong stocks, get a little profit taking. So anyway, we'll see. At this point, though, probably not a bad spot. What did I buy? I bought the Diamond DDIA 439s for pretty cheap. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here. But ultimately, if you use my methodology on you get out of the way when you break the 8-day moving average, if you were playing this indice, which I don't know anyone who really does, this was your out. So learn from it. Learn that active trend, which is where I live, changed right there. Anyway, so that's what that looks like. But then what's working is obviously a lot of Mag 7. I talked to you guys the other day about buying the dip in Apple. I bought the dip in Apple again. It worked out really well, right? We had a nice little bull flag right here. If you look at it, bull flag above the 8-day. This has been an unbelievable trend. We took out 230, 237. Here you go. Apple hit a high of 253.81. It's Chase Redler's biggest position, by the way. I made some adjustments yesterday in his portfolio, earmarked. I think the virtual trading for the Alpha team are like, could you make a model portfolio with Chase Redler's, what's it called? Robinhood account. I might do that because some of you guys don't trade for a living. You're just like, we want to, have a bunch of different. That's why I try and do a Power Plays. Power Plays is a product that we use that's really cheap. It's like $99 for the year, where I tell you what to do. I give parameters, and then we help piece you out. So this way, you're not looking through my Red Dog note that has 40 things on there and picking out what you want, or trading it like, hey, just tell me what to do. I kind of like you. I trust you, and you have all of our best interests at heart, which is what I do. Doesn't mean I'm always going to be right, but at least I'm giving you the high probability of getting in there. So anyway, Apple was really good. I kind of think Amazon's going to have another move very soon. I bought some options into the dip. Amazon's been fantastic. It traded above this 202, which was one of the inflection points after the retest. And now it's going sideways. I think at some point this takes out 233 and ends a lot higher into the end of the year. So that's pretty good. Meta's not so bad overall. It's very loose and wide. But again, we talk about trade management and the money trade. Well, Meta, gave us that money trade right here. These 2-day trades is where I make a living, or I try to. Where something gets ready, you see the relative strength, you have a price point on the daily chart, there's an action area, and it goes through, you make your money, you sell some, you're done with it, and then you manage it. And so far this isn't, this is consolidating. I would think at some point this takes out now 638 and continues. Where I've been making a lot of money, which has been the hyper focus, has been Tesla, and everybody knows it. Even Liz Clayman was like, "Oh my God, what the hell are you still doing on TV? You should be, out in friggin' Turks and Caicos counting your money. You've been so accurate with Tesla." I'm like, "What fun is that?" No, I'm kidding. She's actually going on a nice vacation there, so I wish her the best. She's leaving soon. But this has been great. So many different ways to play it, so many different ways to make money, starting from pre-election, post-election. This was your last real money setup at 348. It took out this 362 area, and then, yesterday was the first day I became really cute. I've always been cute. No, I'm kidding. What does that mean? It means that I've been long Tesla, and I bought the reverse ETF, and I sold premium. I actually sold premium the day before into the close to take advantage of the stretch nature of this range. So instead of just getting out of Tesla, I'm like, how do I stay in it and make money and then let it go? So, if you look at the Alpha team, what I did yesterday is I bought some TSLQ calls. I bought some TSLQ itself, and I sold the 510s and the 530s. So I'm very happy coming in with Tesla down, 12, because what could I do? I could trim, which you could already see here on the Alpha team. If you're part of the Alpha team, I've already trimmed a little bit. It says sell some of the TSLQs, make money, keep some. I'll have some options that might make me money, and they'll suck out the premium here, and I get to keep, Tesla and buy a dip and let it consolidate, because there are some times when Tesla's not just making higher highs. It's got to rest a little bit. So even if it just rests here now, which would be great, let it rest. Rest, my dear. Hang out. Let the 8-day catch up. Then you can make money while it rests, and then you see what else is going on. Yesterday, Red Dog bought a dip in the video. Yes, I did. Okay, even though it's broken, I did it here too. If you remember into this, I was buying like the 140 somethings. Well, yesterday, okay, if you're a member of the Alpha team, okay, I pieced into NVIDIA calls because of the 100-day, not because it's just NVIDIA, because I had a calculated way. So what I buy in NVIDIA, I bought the 1227s. As I said, I'm focusing on 1227 4 options, and I bought the 132s. So anyway, the 132s, I'll probably sell half. I bought them at as low as 2.25 yesterday. And where could it go? I don't think this is going to be the NVIDIA of old, but NVIDIA, why can't it get into these moving averages right around here? This would be, a decent resistance area, to probably trim into. NVIDIA, I looked before, is up a decent amount. NVDA, it's up 350, 134. Where's 134? Not quite here. So I would say this NVIDIA will probably be a better buy from 135 to 137 than not a better buy. I'm sorry, a better trim, a better sell, a better take profits than a better add. So don't get overexcited there. You know what? I've been a little rude. I didn't even say hello to any of my dogs around the world. I got all right. Sully's like NVIDIA. By the way, remember on the opposite. So yesterday I had Chase sell half his Tesla, and he bought NVIDIA yesterday. Tesla 500 top or higher. I don't know. Well, let it hang out. Let Tesla digest a little bit. RKLB, that's been a pretty hot stock, right? With the whole what's it called? Drone sector, whatever you want to call it. Hey, Scott's, yeah, SOUN had a friggin' crazy move, Mario. I would not be buying it now. What a move. We were, you want to buy these things when it's in the base, and then you have trade management. And yesterday was one of those trade management days where you'll see if it builds a bull flag above this. It's already had a huge move. Like, this is when I was hyper focused on it. I was, 612. And then again right here, look how it followed the 8-day all the way up until it got extended. So whenever something's extended, you want to trim a little bit. Extraterrestrial news coming? Where? Yeah, everyone has drones in their backyard. If you get taken away and you go to a foreign planet, don't drink the water. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Just hopefully you'll be safe. Bitcoin, I did trim some. I already bought a little bit back this morning. IBIT probably needs a little rest above this 59.40. Bitcoin's been absolutely fantastic. I'll tell you, the miners have been kind of annoying. I did sell a lot of my MSTX. We talked about that the other day when it was up a lot because they got added to the NASDAQ 100, and every time it's been up, it's been a sell. So anyway, I would be buying a dip in IBIT into this. I already bought a little bit this morning, and you could see that too. So, managing the approach. So IBIT, which I'm long, hey, I bought a little bit more this morning at 626, and then I sold some Tesla Q at 626. So that's what we do. We manage the portfolio approach. Not everyone can have a portfolio approach. I have Connor sitting next to me. Conrad. Did everyone call you Connor back in the day? Who's only been trading for a little while, who doesn't take overnights, who needs to make cash flow every single day with setups. That's different. I've been doing this for 30 years, so I get to manage my 4 accounts. So anyway, you can still do that without having overnights by using levels and trading versus spots. And I would be a buyer of IBIT on the dip here. I did sell my Mister yesterday into strength. Not yesterday, 2 days ago, right here. And then look what happened yesterday. So this morning, I bet you Mister's down a little bit. Maybe you could buy it. Oh, it's not even down a little bit. These things are trading a little weird. You have Bitcoin down, okay, and you have Mister up $1. But again, all it is in here. High, lower high, lower high. This is getting a little temperamental here, So hopefully, I do not want this. It's kind of broke this little spot. It's below the 8-day. It's been holding the 21-day. If this doesn't hold the 21-day, listen, I'm a Sailor fan too, and I'm a crypto fan, but I'm a technical fan more. I trust the technicals. I remember when SMCI. Not saying this is SMCI. Don't get me wrong. I know a lot of you crypto fanatics out there. I'm not a fanatic. I just like to go where the money is. I remember this had that huge move that got parabolic, and then all of a sudden it kept getting sold into strength. And everyone's like, why is it getting sold into strength? Why is it getting sold into strength? And then, a little bit later, come in July, everyone figured out why it got sold into strength. And I'm not saying that's going to happen with Mister. I'm just saying, just be careful. Be careful. I'm always, names like this that have had extended crazy moves, they can continue, but when they change, they change. So it just means you need to change the speed of how you're dealing with these things. Red Dog likes to be a little careful with everybody. Anyway, let's see what else is, what are other people talking about here. Mister. Duncan had a Red Dog reversal. DKNG. If you sold, I was talking to some of these, big guys that manage billions of dollars, and it's funny how they just have their narrative and they just keep buying it. I'm like, let's do a little chart lesson here on why you shouldn't have been in a rush. Here's where DraftKings, got a little wishy-washy, had a false breakout, and then lost the 8 day. Right there, this be careful. It lost momentum. So you don't want to buy it as quickly. And then look what happened. You could have been out of the wave pretty much from, I'd say 43-ish all the way down, and then maybe re-entered here with your first signal. So that was one little thing. And then I'm like, you know what? DraftKings is one sector. I'm like, look at another sector, because everyone loves CCJ, which is uranium. I'm like, look what CCJ did. Same kind of thing, right? CCJ, you had your, this was a fine candle. This was like, hey, I'm going to trim into some strength. It's been great. But then this candle that broke the 8 day and engulfed this entire range said, hey, maybe I should take a step back and not buy this as fast. It's not making higher highs and higher lows. I want to save myself some money. So PS, from 59, it went all the way down to, the 100 day, where maybe you have a little bottom tail here, and this was a better entry. So you could look for areas when stocks change, and then you have to just readjust. It's different when it's here, when it's, awesome above the moving averages, has a move, holds the 8 day, continues here. This is like a topping pattern, and you just don't want to buy it back too fast. Anyway, that's just my story with that. Morning, good tip on Lunar. Thank you. Lunar had a nice move, a nice 2 day move. I was buying it with the 630 club and, I would call path to profits, power plays at 1140. I did trim most, and now we'll see if it holds in there. I did buy some ASTS. This stock has been very annoying, to be honest. It had a big move to 39. It's been consolidating for a long time. You would think, it can get going a little bit. It's in the right sector at the right time, and it's been consolidating. So I did buy a little bit of this yesterday. This ASTS, this is, the Space Mobile spot. It's got some good deals. People like this for next year, so we'll see. Quantum computing has been great. Do you think volatility will always be higher the next 4 years due to? I don't know. If President like Trump seems a little bit more mature, seems like he's not as saying such outlandish things. So maybe there'll be a little less volatility. But he's always known to do those tweet bombs at 2:00 in the morning. I told you that story from the Maccabi games. I'm not going to tell you guys again. But anyway, so it's Fed Day. Fed days to me kind of are a pain in the butt. You usually have some false moves at 2:00, and then you have to wait for the press conference, and then you have to interpret whether or not, how hawkish is he? What does it really mean? Is it priced in? Is it not? So it's one of those times where, sometimes it's hard to make money. So if you had I was at the highs of my year, yes. If you had a good run, just don't put yourself out there and don't have a false sense of security or some crazy opinions. If you go back to the SPYs, which is what I'll leave you with, at least we're in a tight range here. At least you have points of reference. So if all of a sudden he sounds way too hawkish, and rates pop, and when you start breaking this little spot, you'll know that it's time to, take some more risk down, right? If all of a sudden, they cut a quarter and he sounds like it's data dependent and that they're on, blah, 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 and he tries to massage the situation. We've been in this range for a while now. It's been since December 4th. It's December 18th. So, don't just fade things, because sometimes it happens. Plus, remember that at 3:15 to 4, there's a move, and then sometimes there's a reversal of the move the next day. So that sounds like a lot of like back and forth. So make sure to take trades, have your levels defined in front of you, know what you're committed to in times like this. Oxy is a pain in the butt, Mario. Why do you got to bring it up? You want to bring up my dead squirrel from when I was in high school? I'm kidding. Anyway, I've been buying Oxy a little bit on the dip. It's one of my January effect plays. I think I have enough time. I have till October 7th. I have till January 17th. I bought some of this. Hey, look at that, a little bottom tail. But it's gonna have to go quite some way for me to make money in this. Same thing with the C. Funny thing is, I'm not gonna beat anybody up on Twitter, but like this is another one of my January effect trades that I have for Jan. I love when somebody comes out and says, I'm buying this for the January effect, and then they're kind of wrong. They're kind of early. They're like, I want it to go lower. Like, do you really want it to go lower? Because they're kind of sucking some wind out of my P&L right now. Yes. Do I want to buy more too? Did I buy tier 3 of this thinking it was going to get above 32 before January? No, because there's a lot of people that have lost a lot of money that don't care about this. And yes, I'm a fitness fanatic. I have never had one of these drinks. If I had $1 for every person that said, "Oh, I'm buying the dip in this since the double top here," I'd have a lot of dollars. But if I bought it every time they said it, I would have lost a lot of money. But anyway, I am in this, and I'm going to buy a little bit more, but I'm going to be very cautious just because I don't know if January 17th is going to be enough time. I might have to go out to February because, again, this has been so, battered and bruised. So again, when you're doing January effect names, just know it's 12/18. Sometimes they keep taking losses on it all the way to the last day of it. So although sometimes they go faster, like I did BlackBerry just so as a January effect, and didn't think it was going to happen and go so fast. So this one's working prior to January. So some work, some don't. One gives you a P&L, one takes it away, but hopefully in over time, consistency, they will work together. In your opinion, what's the level to add Tesla? I would think of this is yesterday's low. I would think 457. It could. I don't even know if it will get there, but if it somewhere around hold yesterday's low 457. Here's the 8-day. I to be honest, I'd rather this. I want this 484 to be the high of the week. I'd rather it just kind of hang in here, reset up. Kind of even go sideways maybe like this it did here after a huge move, but that just means it's a lot of range trading, and I can't. It's a little too early to tell. It all depends on how quickly this dip gets bought. If Tesla goes green today, not saying it will, but it could. Chances are 484 might not be the high of the week, but if it stays down 1215 and shows some relative weakness, chances are it'll need a little bit of time, which will be healthy. It'll make a better setup for later this week or next week. All right, guys, I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. Happy Fed Day. Don't do too much. I actually might have to go to the city for a Secret Santa with T3, so I might not even be at my desk for the Fed. I'll be trading from the New York City office, which kind of sucks whenever you go to a new, setup and you don't have all your things, and you just take it a little slower. So if you're trading the Fed from the phone, do it a little bit, a little less size. Later, guys.